Hello and welcome to Mystic Visions with DrShiny. This is a monthly tarot reading for Aries for the month of February 2021. And this is a general reading using my adaptation of a Celtic cross. And if you're a regular subscriber to the channel, you may have noticed I haven't been quite as active this month. And that's because my daughter was just born on January 23rd. So I may just do the monthly readings for a little while until things settle down a little bit. But we'll see after that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with your Celtic cross here. All right. Okay, so for your current situation, we have a Judgment card. So this can mean that in the current time, there's a need for some sort of completion of the cycle, or something has been perhaps in the works for a little while, and it's time for it to finally be over and done with. Or it can also mean this is a situation that calls for a little bit of prudence, or the difference between this and, let's say, justice would indicate a little bit more logic, whereas this asks you to take your past into consideration a little bit. So let's say it's like buying a lottery ticket or something, and you're being asked not to just look at like the odds or the mathematics of the equation here, but also look at the past about how many times you've been burned by this. Is it really as good of a deal as it sounds like? So you're being asked to definitely focus on your past experiences to draw accurate conclusions in this situation. And crossing you here is this Ten of Coins energy, so or influencing you. So you're essentially looking for this happy, healthy stability, financial stability. You're looking for something that you can sort of depend on, and it doesn't come without taking risks at all. So kind of looking at how this interacts with Judgment. It doesn't mean that there is going to be this sort of abundance without taking some sort of a risk at some point, but it just means to use your past experiences to get there, or to assess the risks in any given situation. What you're moving away from is this Three of Wands in the reverse. So this is moving away from a stagnant energy that's not willing to act. You are willing to act now. You're moving toward that willingness to act. You're getting a little bit more gutsy here, and you're moving into a place where you're not as scared of what's going to happen, or you're at least possibly not as lazy either. So it's just a little bit more of a ambitious or motivated willingness to act. And what you're moving toward is a sort of new idea, a new way of thinking, and possibly like a new perspective or a new situation here. And so something else is, going to pop up here where your outlook is going to change, and it's not going to be the same business as usual. There's going to be a whole new way of thinking that comes about through this situation. And your foundation is this Four of Coins. Let's out of the frame a little bit. Four of Coins. Okay, so the foundation kind of represents the overall, the basis for what this message is coming out of. So there's something going on in the subconscious, right? And the Four of Coins is indicative of what that is. What's going on in the subconscious that is sort of making this reading appear, or the situation or plot in your life. What's driving it? What's the underlying force? And that is the Four of Coins here, which means that coming through all this, you may be a little bit too clingy to your financial situation. You probably are good at saving when you decide to save, but there is a need for you to figure out ways of using those savings or using that money in a way that actually has value, right? So you can save up all the money in the world, but if you always save, never use it, and then pass away, well, it never really had any value to you. And you can say, well, it may have had value to my children and whatnot, but you know, they're probably going to do the same thing, because your children have a tendency of learning from you. They do what you do instead of doing what you tell them to do. So they may do the exact same thing where they save up all that money, never get any real value or benefit from it, and then end up passing it to their children. So you have to be careful about what are you doing with those savings. If you're clinging to these things, let there be a reason, let there be a sort of endpoint or a goal in that, because there's really no end to the depth of things that you can worry about that you're trying to just set money aside for no real reason. And so this is kind of what's going on here, is that you're being taught how to invest or to make your money work for you in such a way that is a positive, in such a way that is not just simply eating away at your savings or being undue hardship that's caused by reckless spending or something like that. So you're looking at ways to achieve this sort of 10 of coins, this ideal wealth. And see, in the 10 of coins also, there's not just the 10 coins which are prominent here, but there's also, you know, dogs, there's a family, there's grandchildren, and abundance that's not just material, but is sort of life as flowering here. So you're going to want to find ways of converting that material wealth into a physical wealth, riches that just surpass the value of money itself, but how do you actually create sort of an abundance out of that? Now, what's on your mind is the 3 of Cups in the reverse. So you're possibly not really feeling as connected socially with people as you really want to be. There could be a little loneliness here, or something is just, you know, you're longing for a little bit of that that fellowship, or on the other hand, you may be kind of like shying away from this. You're wanting some alone time, or not feeling like you want to hang out with people as much as you normally would. So it's kind of 2 possible meanings there, but what's heavy on your mind is this fellowship here. So either there's too much of this going on, or you're kind of looking for that, and it's kind of like what's central to your mindset in the crowning thoughts here. So whatever your situation is, here is heavy on your mind about, you know, having other people around you. So your advice for this situation is the Hermit. So the way that kind of works is your advice is to take some of that solitude to kind of get yourself organized, to get yourself on the right track, whether you're, you know, wanting it or not wanting it. There is definitely a value in it, and so the idea here is to utilize some of that value, that alone time, to organize your life, to get it straight, to figure out what you want to do, to make a plan, or to just do some self-exploration. And the current environment is the 8 of Swords. So 8 of Swords in the reverse here. You have possibly become a little bit more aware that a lot of your circumstances are you may have felt trapped before in your circumstances, and you're starting to kind of figure out that you're not really trapped, that it's really just you have to act in order for something to happen. So this is a big energy that's coming up in the world recently, especially, you know, in the realm of politics and everything. There's been a long history of people thinking that everything is sort of outside of our control. And now things are starting to look up to where you're starting to see that you do have individual power, especially if you band together with others, or contribute yourself to a larger cause. So really, this trapped energy is a byproduct of feeling like you need to go it alone, feeling like you need to accomplish all this by yourself instead of like falling back and relying on some other people, or joining a cause, or creating a greater strength. The world's become, it's a large place, and there are a lot of people, billions of people. So for there to be sweeping change in the society, it requires either incredible innovation, which does happen, but it also takes a bit of luck, or it just takes a huge amount of people to get on board to some sort of an idea. Now, your Fears card is the Magician in the reverse. So I think what this is saying is that you're afraid that you won't get things accomplished in life, that you won't do things that you want to do. You won't have opportunities to go the places that you want to go, or accomplish certain goals or dreams or things like that. So it's an understandable fear, but clinging to these wealth, there's a saying that fortune favors the brave. Fortune favors the brave. So you are going to have to figure out ways of acting, but acting with confidence and not being constantly afraid that your actions are not going to work out. It's about kind of finding a leverage in life, and figuring out a way where you can sort of hedge your bets, or guarantee that your actions are going to be successful. So that's what this whole process is designed to teach you. So you'll get over some of that fear just going through this, but it's just a process, So overall message or overall outcome, you have this Ace of Cups in the reverse. And Ace of Cups is generally like a new emotion, some new feeling that presents itself, sometimes like almost out of nowhere. But in the reverse, there's this sort of like resistance to that. So what I'm taking this to mean is that if you're wanting new feelings of abundance and things like that, you're going to have to expose yourself to some new emotions. And so part of that is, everything in transactions has like this risk reward proposition. And whenever I see the Judgment card come up, I'm very much drawn to think about that sort of risk value proposition, because that Judgment card often comes up in a time where it's necessary for you to make a decision on something that can be a bit risky. And so it's asking you not just to look at the math or the mental aspect of the risk, but also to think about your past, think about who you are, think about, is this risk, more harmful to me personally? So, you may think that something is a really good chance at paying off, but if you invest all of your money in that thing, how screwed are you going to be if it doesn't pay off, right? So these kind of things. So through this process, you're going to be experiencing some new emotions that are going to be required for you to get to where you're going. So it may be involving feeling a new sort of risk tolerance, or understanding, having faith where you didn't have faith before, or having a little bit of prudence to think about like that new emotion could be a protective nature, where you may have been a little more carefree in the past, but now you're having to figure out, okay, how do I achieve more without giving up the progress that I've already made, or things like that. So those new types of emotions that you may have been resistant to in the past can serve you well, even if it's just to kind of have those in your quiver instead of fully relying on them. But anyway, so positive growth here for you, but maybe a little bit uncomfortable situations for you to get into, but it'll all work out for the best. And definitely focus on inner solitude, inner light, and getting a little bit in touch with yourself instead of just chasing around what the world is telling you to do, or what all this on the exterior is pointing you toward. You're going to want to take a look inside and see where does the path really take me, so that I am fulfilled, or feeling better about life, you know. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. That's been your monthly reading for Aries. And we will see you guys again at least next month for the next monthly reading. I may do some more readings between now and then, though, so we'll just have to see. Thank you all, and we'll see you next time.